Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Costume Cinematographico. In this episode, I list 10 things that I missed from my previous Game of Thrones videos. So these are some costume facts that I discovered more recently that I thought were interesting that I wanted to share with you. So I'll make sure that I leave some links in the description below in case you want to check them out. So here is a list in no particular order, and as always, spoilers for the entire 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. In Season 5, Episode 2, The House of Black and White, Sansa is sitting having a drink in a tavern with Littlefinger when Brienne happens upon them and she pledges her loyalty to Sansa, but as we might remember, Sansa refuses and goes along with Littlefinger. And what I realized, I hadn't seen this picture before or couldn't remember, that Sansa's actually wearing the same dress that she wore to the wedding of Marjorie and Joffrey, except it was in sort of a purpley color. But here, Michelle Clapton's actually dyed it black, and if you remember, it's made from this silk madelaise fabric, which is a French word meaning quilted. You can also see that she's wearing it under the houppelande in this scene. This is from the Season 5 episode, The Wars to Come. Now, of course, I'd commented on Sansa's necklace, and we all know that the poison vial was attached to it. Actually, Olenna Tyrell, she removes the poison vial from the necklace, and it's the necklace that Sir Dantos gave her in Episode 1 of Season 4. So, of Sansa's necklace, Clapton had said, I looked actually at lots of Art Deco and Art Nouveau necklaces, as well was inspired by the same period. It's actually very exciting. I very rarely design jewelry. So what I'd failed to mention before is that Sansa's necklace was actually handcrafted by Steenson's Jewelers at their studio in Glenarm, which is an historic village in County Antrim, Northern Ireland. Many of the Game of Thrones scenes are actually shot in Northern Ireland, in particular the Antrim coast, which stands in for the north. And the necklace is made from sterling silver and is rose gold plated, according to Steenson's. And Michelle Clapton said, we 3D printed the beads, which is the most exciting thing of the season. Props master Gordon Fitzgerald adds, the crossover is when Littlefinger smashes the necklace. We had the jewelers, Steenson's, make the metal frame, and the prop guys made a hard rubber stone, which were then put into links. They were quite expensive to make, even the basic ones, and then we smashed them all. So I had originally thought that the brooches on Sansa's many gowns were dragonfly wings, and these are these two little closures that keep her gowns together at the center front. And the reason why I thought they were dragonflies is because of her necklace that she had and her ring that she had. But I happened upon a forum, and a poster there suggested that the brooches were actually weirwood keys. So you might recall from this series that weirwood trees are a species of deciduous trees found all over Westeros. It has a white bark with a 5-pointed blood red leaf and sap. So the weirwood seems to be a combination of birch with its white bark and the red maple with its vivid red leaves. Both of these trees are native to North America, Europe, and Asia. And the red maple has these beautiful red keys, and this is what I suspect the weirwood tree keys might look like, and what I think Sansa's brooches are based upon. As a side note, I hadn't connected Sansa's brooches with the Celtic brooches, known more accurately as a penannular brooch that stems from early British medieval times. And pictured here is a silver Viking brooch from the 10th century. And you might recall that I had actually talked about these styles of brooches in DANY'S video, who is from Dragonstone, which is also in Westeros. Sansa also wears penannular brooches on her wedding gown in her marriage to Ramsay. She switches out the weirwood key brooches for Tullyfish from her mother Catelyn's family sigil. There's another thing I neglected to mention previously about this gown when I actually did the costume breakdown of Sansa's costumes. So it's assumed that Sansa made her own wedding gown, which is actually bad luck for a bride to do. According to wedding myth, every stitch the bride sews, she will shed one tear during marriage. Yeah, so for Sansa, that sounds about right. You might recall in my breakdown of Cersei's costume, she wears this fern leaf gown when she is arrested by the High Sparrow and the Faith Militant in the season 5 episode called The Gift. Unfortunately, in that video, I couldn't find a good image of it. And as you can see, because of the lighting, I could only get a hint of the texture, which of course I thought was a leaf pattern of some type. Here's a really good photo of the gown from a proper photo shoot that I took from the Making of Thrones website. I originally couldn't decipher the color, but looking at this now, I can clearly see that it's a bronze silk jacquard with a black or navy fern detail. And she also wears the color embroidered by the amazing Michelle Carragher in the season 5 episode, Sons of the Harpy. You might recall from my Cersei video analysis that she wears this golden lion pendant throughout the 6 seasons, and also that we know from her flashback scenes that she has worn the pendant since she was a girl, and I had sort of made an assumption that probably was a gift for maybe her mother. Joffrey presents Sansa with a smaller version of the pendant in season 1 before everything goes to crap. And what I didn't know is that the pendants were also created by Steenson's Jewelers in Northern Ireland. They were created by CAD, cast in sterling silver, gold-plated and aged. There's no mention on their website of how many pendants were made, but I think it's safe to assume that they probably made duplicates. So you might recall from my episode on Dany that she wears this luxurious wrap-style robe in the episode Second Sons, after Dario, who is disguised as an Unsullied, steals into her tent while she's still having a bath. So while doing research, I discovered later that Top Fabric in the UK provided the fabric for this costume. What I originally thought was a linen or silk fabric is actually fine silk and metal chiffon in a caramel color. And according to Top Fabric, it's the golden metallic threads that give it a slight ripple effect. And the metal also gives the fabric some crispness. So when I initially analyzed Dany's costumes, I had no idea that Michelle Clapton had commissioned Steenson's Jewelers to custom make these unique penannular brooches. Both Dany's and her brother Viserys dragon brooches were made by Steenson's. They made 3 in total, 2 for Dany and 1 for Viserys. And of their process, Steenson stated, dragon heads and silver circles were initially created on CAD, which stands for Computer-Aided Design, and 3D milled in wax. The finer detail on the dragon heads was then hand-carved in the wax before carving them in silver. The swords were made by filing and shaping steel. And as for Dany's viewing gown, I'd originally thought that the bias cut gown was made from a silk chiffon or gauze without any knowledge of the source. So what I found out later was that I wasn't completely in left field on this one. According to Top Fabric in the UK, Michelle Clapton once again used the same fine silk and metal chiffon fabric for Dany's viewing gown. This fabric is in off-white with silver metallic threads, and I will leave a link for both fabrics in the description below in case you want to source it out yourselves. So in season 4, Michelle Clapton kept repeatedly using arched openings and cutouts on many of Dany's MEEREEN dresses. And I honestly had no idea why, except I thought it might have been an architectural detail that she wanted to use. But recently I discovered what might be her inspiration. So I came upon these dresses. So Dany's arched cutout gowns look like the shaping of the Indian kurta or kurti and skirt as seen here. So a kurti or kurta is an upper garment for men and women. This style of clothing seen in these images is referred to as Indo-Western. It's a fusion of Western and South Asian fashions. Another series of Dany's gowns and dresses is this look that carries on into season 7, as we see on the far right, and they actually have these slits on both sides in the skirts of her gowns. Again, Dany's dresses are inspired by these double slit kurtis, which is a popular item worn in Southeast Asia. The sleeveless kurti is more Indo-Western than traditional, and it can be worn more formally with a skirt as seen here in a similar way that Dany wears it, or it can also be worn over pants, leggings, or even jeans. So Marjorie wore this Art Deco inspired necklace for her wedding to Joffrey in the season 4 episode The Lion and the Rose. And again, this is another necklace that Michelle Clapton designed specifically for the character. Marjorie's bridal necklace, according to Michelle Clapton, was inspired by that same period as well. There is a real link between the two, Marjorie and Sansa. Also handcrafted by Steenson's Jewelers, this necklace was created using CAD software, cast in sterling silver and rose gold plated, according to Steenson's website. It is hand set with oval and round moonstones, blue topaz, and 3 cubic zirconia. What do you think of this list? Do you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation? If so, please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. I have more great Game of Thrones videos coming in the next few weeks, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching.